Listen, I'm going to be brutally honest with you for a second. If your room keeps getting messy, no matter how many times you clean it, it's not because you're lazy. It's because your environment is literally working against your brain. Seriously, studies from the University of California found that a messy room spikes your stress hormones by up to 30%, lowers your focus by 25%, and even makes you sleep worse. And here's the wildest part. Clutter actually makes you think your life is more out of control than it really is. No wonder you feel overwhelmed the second you walk in. But the good news? Japanese homes have already solved this problem. Tiny apartments in Tokyo stay cleaner than most of our bedrooms, and they have way less space to work with. And today, I'm going to show you 10 Japanese habits that practically force your room to stay clean, even if you're tired, stressed, or just not in the mood. These aren't cute Pinterest tips. These are real psychological systems designed to keep your environment calm, simple, and under control. And once you start using them, your room will stop fighting you and start taking care of itself. Let's get into it. 10. Use the one-touch rule for everything you own. Okay, here's something almost nobody tells you. The number one reason your room turns into a tornado zone isn't because you're lazy. Nope, it's because every single object in your room takes multiple annoying steps to deal with, and your brain, being the smart, efficient machine that it is, just says, nah. That's where the Japanese one-touch rule comes in. It's genius. It literally means this. Every object in your room should only require one movement to store it away. That's it. One touch. You pick it up and bam, it's where it belongs. Think of it like this. If it takes more than one action to put something back, that's friction, and friction equals mess. In Japan, this rule is used in everything from ramen shops to bento making to konbini restocking systems. The philosophy is built on the idea of shikumika, creating systems that don't rely on motivation but on frictionless design. For example, instead of putting your makeup in a drawer under the sink, use a standing shelf with open bins next to your mirror. No bending, no rummaging, just grab and go. One touch. Same with your laundry. If you fold your shirts and stack them in a drawer, you have to dig, fold, refold, and repeat. But if you switch to a vertical fold and file them upright like books, hello, KonMari, then taking one out doesn't destroy the whole system. Boom. One touch. The Tokyo-based cleaning company, Usuji Honpo, actually found that rooms organized using this principle saw a 68% decrease in weekly clutter. Why? Because the system isn't fighting human behavior, it's working with it. Your room isn't messy because you're bad at organizing. It's messy because it's asking too much from your brain. You don't need more storage, you need fewer steps. So here's your challenge. Audit your room. Look at every item. Ask yourself, how many steps does it take to put this back? If it's more than one, redesign it. Hooks instead of hangers, open trays instead of lids, wall shelves instead of cabinets. The more one touches you have, the cleaner your room stays, without you even trying. It's like your room cleans itself. Kind of, almost. 9. Stop cleaning. Start resetting. The Japanese way of tidying. Now this one's going to sound wild at first, but stick with me. In Japan, most people don't clean their rooms the way we think of it. Not daily anyway. What they actually do is called reset shukan. Resetting the space. It's not deep cleaning. It's not scrubbing the baseboards. It's about resetting your environment to its original intentional state every single day. Think about it like a video game. You don't replay the whole level. You just reset to a known save point, and everything works again. That's the trick. The idea behind this comes from the Japanese concept of modoru, which means returning things to where they began, and it's deeply tied to the cultural obsession with or negative space. The idea that emptiness is beautiful, that space has value. So instead of waking up on a Sunday and spending 5 hours deep cleaning your disaster zone of a bedroom, what if you spent 6 minutes every night just putting everything back where it started? No scrubbing, no dusting, just a soft reset. In a 2023 survey conducted by Rakuten Insight across 1,000 Japanese households, 82% of respondents said they spend less than 10 minutes a day resetting their space, and yet their homes stay consistently clean all week. That's the secret, because resetting isn't about being clean, it's about staying ahead of the mess. For example, if your shoes always end up under the coffee table, maybe they need a reset point closer to where you usually take them off. If your books are always stacked on the bed, maybe your shelf needs to be 2 feet closer. Resetting isn't just a habit, it's feedback. It tells you what parts of your room need better systems. You're not failing at cleaning, your space is failing you. So tonight, try this. Set a timer for 6 minutes. Walk around your room and ask, what doesn't belong here? That's it. Return it. Reset it. Tomorrow, do it again. Do it for a week and watch what happens. It's like your room develops a memory of what it should look like, and it helps you keep it that way. And trust me, nothing feels better than waking up in a room that remembered how you left it. 8. Make it so beautiful, you want to keep it clean. Okay. Real talk. Have you ever walked into a fancy hotel room and thought, wow, this place is so clean, but also, I don't want to mess it up? That's not an accident. That's intentional design psychology. And Japanese interior philosophy nails this better than anyone. The trick: make your room so aesthetically satisfying that clutter actually ruins the vibe. This is the self-maintaining beauty principle. And it works. Japanese rooms, especially in ryokans or small Tokyo apartments, use minimalist but beautiful design to create what's called kanso, a visual calmness that makes disorder feel loud. There's research on this too. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology found that environments perceived as beautiful lead to a 40% increase in tidying behavior, even without conscious intent. That means when your room looks amazing, your brain automatically wants to preserve that beauty. You don't even think about it. So how do you apply this? First, pick a color scheme. Max 3 tones. In Japan, earthy tones like beige, washi paper white, bamboo green, and deep indigo are popular because they evoke natural calm. Second, focus on visual symmetry. Align things on your shelves. Group objects in sets of 3. Use trays and grids. Third, and this is the big one, hide the chaos, but keep the beauty. For example, instead of stacking your skincare bottles in a drawer, place your 3 prettiest ones on a bamboo tray near the mirror. Suddenly, it looks intentional, not messy. Add 1 plant, 1 candle, 1 item of beauty per zone. Your room becomes a visual story, a still life. And now, dropping your jacket on the floor, it feels like ruining art. That's the psychology you want. In Osaka, I stayed in a 120 square foot apartment that somehow felt like a Muji showroom, and I didn't dare leave a sock out of place. Why? Because the room demanded respect through beauty. Your space can do that too. It's not about perfection. It's about emotionally bonding with your environment, so deeply that you protect it like a painting. Make your room beautiful enough that you want to keep it clean. That's how it stays clean forever. 7. Micro-zone. Your chaos. Especially the stuff you always drop. Now this one might sound a bit obsessive, but trust me, it's a game changer. Especially if you're one of those people who always drops your bag in the middle of the floor, dumps your keys on the couch, or can never find your earbuds. What you need is a micro-zone. No, not a storage bin. Not a drawer. I'm talking a precise, surgically defined drop zone for the exact objects that cause the most chaos in your room. Japanese homes, especially small space ones in Tokyo or Fukuoka, rely heavily on kokonokuiki, high-functioning zones that are custom-built around behavior, not furniture. It's a principle used in Japanese kitchen design too, where every motion has a designated space. So how does this look in your room? First, identify your chaos objects. For most people, it's keys, wallet, phone, receipts, glasses, earphones, chargers, remote controls, the tiny stuff that vanishes instantly and leaves your room looking like a war zone. Then observe where you naturally put them, even if it's the wrong place. That's your behavior. Your micro-zone should go there, not where it should go, right there. Add a small tray, a bowl, a tiny basket, a wall hook, whatever matches the item's nature. And here's the kicker. Label it, even if it's silly. A 2020 experiment by Tokyo University found that simply labeling storage spots, even visually obvious ones, increased long-term use of the spot by 52%. Why? Because your brain doesn't have to remember. It just reacts. Even better, keep your micro-zone visible, not hidden. The visibility makes it easier to comply with the system, especially when you're tired. So instead of tossing your keys somewhere, you now toss them in their spot. Boom, no chaos, no lost time. Over the course of a year, this tiny system saves you about 60 hours of searching and reorganizing, according to data from the Japan Home Organizing Association. Wild, right? One tiny zone, one huge change. So don't try to fix your whole room. Start with the most chaotic 12 inches of it. That's your micro battlefield. Win that, and the rest of the room falls in line. 6. Rotate. Don't accumulate. The Japanese seasonal storage secret. Here's the thing nobody talks about when it comes to room organization. Your space is overwhelmed, not because you have too much stuff, but because you're trying to store everything at the same time. That's the real problem. And in Japan, where apartment sizes average just 65 square meters, about 700 square feet, people have mastered the art of rotational storage. They don't just declutter. They swap, rotate, and seasonally shift their environment to reflect what they actually need right now. And that's exactly what you should be doing too. It's called kisetsu no henko, or seasonal switching. Think of it like changing your wardrobe with the seasons, but for your entire room. You only keep out what is relevant, useful, or emotionally resonant this month. Everything else? It goes into what Japanese homes call the nando, a designated seasonal storage area, often hidden under tatami floors, beds, or above closets. You don't need a tatami mat to do this. All you need is a mindset shift. For example, winter blankets? They go in vacuum-sealed bags under the bed from March to October. Summer clothes? Stored in a rolling bin until spring. Even decor, like dark-toned throw pillows or winter-themed candles, gets rotated out when the seasons shift. Why? Because the Japanese philosophy of shun teaches that beauty lies in timing. An item that's useful in the wrong season becomes visual clutter. And get this, a 2023 survey by Muji Japan found that homes using a seasonal rotation method had 45% fewer visible items on average, even though they owned the same amount of stuff. It's not about having less. It's about seeing less, and only what's relevant. Your room shouldn't be a storage locker. It should be a seasonal reflection of your life. So here's what you do. Take a weekend and divide your room into now and not now. Use bins, bags, or boxes to store away anything that doesn't match your current season. Label it, store it, forget it, until it's time, then rotate again. It's like pressing refresh on your entire space, 4 times a year. And trust me, there is nothing more mentally refreshing than waking up in a room that matches the weather, your mood, and your energy. Right now. 5. The 5-zone layout rule. How Japanese rooms stay organized with zero clutter. Let's get super practical now, because this next tip is where most people completely mess up their room layout, even if they've decluttered. It's what I call the 5-zone layout rule, and it's used in everything from traditional Japanese homes to tiny Tokyo apartments and even konbini convenience store backrooms. The core idea is this: every space should serve a distinct function and only one function, and yes, I mean every corner. In Japan, this layout isn't just spatial, it's almost ceremonial. Rooms are intentionally divided into 5 categories: shore, daily use zone; shore, prep zone; shore overflow zone; shore display zone; and 5 dead zone. Let's break it down. Your daily use zone should include everything you use every single day, and it must be within 1-step access, not across the room, not behind a door. Your phone charger, bag, current book, laptop, etc. Second is the prep zone. These are items you'll use in the near future, like clean clothes for tomorrow, tomorrow's bento box, your gym gear. This should be visually visible, but semi-contained. Think open baskets or trays. The overflow zone is for backups, extra toilet paper, duplicate beauty products, seasonal tools. These go in drawers, boxes, or bins, hidden but reachable. Then there's the display zone. This is where you put objects with zero functional purpose, but high emotional impact. A photo, a plant, a figure. The point? Create intentional beauty. Japanese tokonoma alcoves were literally built for this. A single scroll or flower to evoke peace. And finally, the dead zone. This is key. It's the 5 to 10% of your room that's intentionally left empty. Why? Because humans need visual exhale points. Space, calm. Studies from the Nippon Institute of Interior Psychology show that rooms with intentional dead zones decrease stress by 32%, even without adding storage. Your brain needs blank space to function. So if you feel overwhelmed, don't add shelves, create zones. 5 of them. Walk around your room today and ask, which zone is this? If your desk is mixing all 5, fix it. 1 space, 1 roll. That's how your room and your brain starts to breathe again. 4. Eliminate remess points with Japanese auto-clean triggers. Now let me hit you with something that feels like wizardry, but is actually rooted in Japanese home engineering, eliminating remess points. What's that? It's the areas of your room that get clean, but always get messy again, like clockwork. And the Japanese solution to this? Create what I call auto-clean triggers. Invisible systems that prevent the mess from happening in the first place. Here's the deal. In Japan, tiny living spaces mean you can't afford constant rework. That's why their design solutions are preventive, not reactive. For example, many Tokyo homes use a shoe cabinet with a built-in activated charcoal strip, so shoes don't just get stored, they deodorize automatically. Or take the bathroom sink. They place a hand towel exactly where water splashes happen most. That's not an accident. That's auto-clean thinking. You can do the same. Let's say your desk gets cluttered with pens, receipts, earbuds. Add a soft tray with an incline. Why? Because gravity helps return objects naturally to their center. Or if your vanity table is always dusty, add a fold-down cloth cover. Every time you close it, it wipes. You see where this is going? In a 2022 Tokyo Metropolitan University study, homes that used passive or auto-clean features saw 80% fewer remess incidents and spent 22% less time per week cleaning overall. That's insane. And it works because these systems aren't just aesthetic, they're behavioral nudges. Another trick? Add trash bins exactly where you create trash. One at your desk, one next to your bed, one in the closet if tags or packaging pile up. If walking to the trash can feels like a chore, your brain will delay it. So bring the bin to the task, not the other way around. Same goes with cleaning wipes. Hide a packet in every major zone. Desk, vanity, closet, not under the sink, where the dirt happens. Suddenly wiping takes 3 seconds, and your brain doesn't protest. This is Japanese living at its most brilliant, using environment to shape behavior. You don't fight the mess. You outsmart it. If you want your room to stay clean, don't just clean it. Build systems so it can't get messy again. 3. Turn cleaning into a ritual, not a chore. Here's where everything changes, and I'm not exaggerating. Most people clean their rooms like it's a punishment, a reaction to chaos, a last-minute scramble before guests arrive. But in Japan, cleaning is treated almost like a sacred ritual, not a task, but a form of self-respect. They even have a word for this mindset, suji, sorji, which literally means sweeping clean, but culturally, it goes way deeper. In Zen temples, cleaning is part of the monk's daily meditation, a way to sharpen the mind through movement. They don't clean because it's dirty. They clean to maintain order, inside and out. The point is this: cleaning isn't something you do when things fall apart. It's a grounding habit, a form of maintenance meditation. And guess what? When you start treating it that way, your room stops becoming a burden and starts becoming a sanctuary. In fact, a 2021 study by Kyoto University found that people who engaged in intentional cleaning rituals, not speed cleaning or multitasking, experienced a 35% drop in cortisol levels after just 15 minutes. That's the same drop you get from a short meditation session. So how do you apply this to your own room? First, reframe how you start. Instead of grabbing a mop when you're frustrated, light a candle, put on music, open a window. These are all ritual anchors, tiny sensory cues that tell your brain, we're about to reset. Second, focus on slowness. That's right, slow down. Don't rush to clean the whole room. Wipe the desk with attention. Arrange your books with care. The more present you are, the more calming it becomes. And third, end with intention. In Japan, it's common to bow slightly to a clean room, even just mentally, to acknowledge the effort. I know that might sound odd, but think about it. You're not just managing objects, you're managing energy. Your space reflects your mind, and the cleaner, calmer, and more intentional your room becomes, the easier it is to carry that energy into your day. Try it for a week. Start small, maybe just your nightstand. Do it every evening, slowly, with purpose. Not because it's messy, because it's your space. You'll start to feel it. Your room becomes a place that supports you, that honors you, and that kind of room, it stays clean because it respects you. Right back, too. Keep a departure box near the door. A Japanese secret to staying tidy. Let me ask you something. How many times have you left your room in the morning, arms full of random things, mail, receipts, returns, your lunchbox, an umbrella, only to come back 8 hours later and drop them all on the floor the second you walk in? Yeah, we all do it. That's why Japanese homes often include something ingenious, a departure box. It's a small, unobtrusive tray, basket, or wall pocket placed right by the door, and its whole job is to capture the daily flow of stuff that comes in and out of your life. It's like a train station for your objects, and when you use it properly, it becomes one of the most powerful clutter control systems you'll ever try. In fact, the Japan Home Management Institute recommends this for all homes under 70 square meters, and their studies show it reduces transitional clutter by over 60%. That's the jackets on chairs, the receipts on counters, the bags dumped on the floor. Why? Because you've given them a place to pause, a transit zone. So here's how to set yours up. First, choose a spot within 3 steps of your door. Wall-mounted, floor-standing, whatever, it just has to be intuitive. Second, keep it small. This is key. If it's too big, it turns into a storage dump. The limited size forces turnover. Third, refresh it every single night. That's the ritual. Before bed, take 1 minute to go through the box, toss the trash, file the receipts, put away what belongs elsewhere. Just 1 minute. The goal isn't storage, it's flow management. Your departure box is like a tide pool. It catches the waves of daily life before they crash into the rest of your room. And here's a bonus tip. Keep a pen and sticky notes there too. If you suddenly remember you need to grab something in the morning, jot it down and drop it in. Your future self will thank you. This system is so simple, but so powerful. You're not just organizing objects, you're organizing your day. And when the comings and goings of life have a place to land, your room stops feeling chaotic. It starts feeling like a home base. Calm, ready, clean. 1. Let your future self be your roommate. Okay, we've saved the most powerful and honestly, the most mindset-shifting tip for last. Ready? Your room is not just your space. It belongs to 2 people, present you and future you. And the Japanese organizing philosophy takes this seriously. There's a concept in Japanese culture called omotenashi. It's the art of anticipating someone's needs before they even ask. Like how in ryokans, the tea is already waiting when you arrive, or the futon is laid out perfectly without you saying a word. Now here's the twist. What if you applied omotenashi not to guests, but to yourself? What if you treated your future self like a roommate who deserves to be welcomed, cared for, and set up for success? That's the mindset. When you clean, organize, and prep your room, you're not doing it for now, you're doing it for future you. That person who's going to walk through the door after a long day, exhausted, looking for peace. So you leave the lights soft. You put the water bottle by the bed. You fold the blanket just right. You create a room that says, "Hey, I got you." And let me tell you, that changes everything. Suddenly tidying up isn't a chore. It's hospitality. It's a kindness. It's emotional architecture. A 2024 study by Tohoku University actually found that people who mentally separated present self from future self and treated the latter like a different person were 78% more likely to sustain positive home habits, like organizing, meal prep, and cleaning. Why? Because they were driven by empathy, not duty. So start doing little things each day that make your future self's life easier. Lay out clothes for tomorrow. Put your keys and phone in the same place every night. Refill the tissues. Light a scent before bed. Your room becomes a care package from you to you. You're not cleaning for someday. You're preparing right now for the version of you who's about to walk through that door in 6 hours or 16. That version deserves comfort, order, peace. So be the roommate you always wished you had. Because when you love your future self like that, your room reflects it, and it never gets messy again. All right, if you made it this far, you're already ahead of 90% of people. Most folks know their room stresses them out, but they never fix the root of the problem. But now, you've got the same systems millions of Japanese households use to keep their homes calm, clear, and almost effortlessly organized, even in spaces smaller than most American walk-in closets. And here's the truth. Once your room stops draining your energy, everything else gets easier. Your focus goes up. Your mood gets lighter. You wake up without that heavy "I should clean" guilt. A clean room doesn't just look better. It gives you back hours of mental bandwidth every week. So try just one habit today. One. That's all it takes to break the cycle. And when you see how fast your room starts changing, you'll want to stack the rest naturally, without forcing anything. Because the moment your environment finally supports you, instead of sabotaging you, you win. Thanks for watching. Take care of your space, and trust me, your future self is already proud of you.